on a journey of a real MC.
Today I'm going to talk to you about basic kettlebell sport technique. And the first technique we're going to talk about is a sport grip. First, you want the handle to lay diagonally across your palm, resting on the bone structure of your palm. Second, we're going to talk about the finger lock. And there's some other names, pinch grip, hook grip, whichever you choose to call it. That's where the index finger and the thumb are going to grip fully around the handle. And notice how I'm favoring the inside corner of the handle. And then I'm going to take the rest of the three fingers and tuck them right behind the handle. And again, the handle resting across on the bone structure of your palm, going into a finger lock, and tucking the rest of the three fingers right behind the belt. And that's your sport grip.
Come follow me on a journey.
Okay, the next sport technique we're going to talk about is the sport rack position. The sport rack position is much different than your traditional rack position in kettlebell. I'll show you both. Traditional kettlebell, we're resting our elbow right into our rib cage, and our glutes and our quads are tight, and we're staying center line here. In sport rack position, we actually want the elbow and the hip to make a connection. So we're going to slide our elbow right into our hip, and I'll show you the profile. I'm just sliding my elbow right into my hip. And if you're having a difficult time doing that, the next best thing you do is round the top of your back. Now really set your elbow right into your hip. Okay, so next, my glutes are very tight, and my hips are fully extended, and my knees are slightly bent. Some people could do it fully locked out, or slightly bent. I like to do it slightly bent. But no matter what, you don't want to bend your knees fully, okay? So remember, soften the knees, glutes are tight, hips are fully extended, elbow to hip connection, top of my back slightly rounded, and of course, my sport grip. You're definitely going to want to practice that rack position because in the beginning it's going to feel very uncomfortable and you're going to have to get used to it. So remember, the elbow hip connection, top of the back is rounded, glutes are tight, hips are fully extended, your knees are slightly bent.
Come follow me on a journey.
Okay, so we went over sport grip and sport rack position. Now we're going to talk about the sport clean. I'm going to address the kettlebell, favoring the inside corner of it with our finger lock, and then I'm going to hike and clean the kettlebell up immediately right into my sport rack position. That elbow to hip connection, top of my back is rounded, glutes are tight, hips are fully extended, and I'm slightly bent in my knees, and of course with my special grip. So this is something you want to practice. It has to be fluid, and you have to go right into your sport rack position. This way, it's fluid and you can transition into a jerk for when you compete into the long cycle. So practicing your sport clean is very essential.
Come follow me on a journey.
The next technique we're going to talk about is your sport swing. The sport swing is much different than your traditional swing. In traditional swing, when I'm hinging here at the hip, my spine is perfectly neutral. In sport, we're going to actually round the back here. And in rounding the back, we're calling on the erector spinae and all the small muscles here in the lower back to be involved. And the reason for this is because we're looking for efficiency and being able to endure the whole duration of your set. And we have to call on every muscle. So rounding the back is going to do that. So I'm here, I'm going to hike and begin my swing, and I'm rounding my back. I'm also tucking my head down, following the kettlebell through my legs. And that helps a lot, so that I can understand how to round my back. The next thing is, when I start to do that sport swing, I'm actually going to do an elbow break at the top of my swing. I'm going to bend the elbow slightly. Okay, and this is so that you start to learn how to manage the weight and the dimension of the kettlebell. Remember, we're focusing on that finger lock, and most of the weight wants to rest between the index and the thumb here, and the other fingers are relaxed. And in your swing, you're not tucking your fingers behind the handle. That's more for when you're in your rack position or locking out at the top for a snatch or a jerk. Here we're just relaxed. So I'm going to set up by favoring the inside with my finger lock and relaxing the other 3 fingers. And I'm going to begin my swing, rounding my back, and then I'm going to go into that elbow break. Remember, this is not a high pull. A high pull is pulling your way in. We're just elbow breaking, just slightly bending the elbow. And that's your sports swing.
Come follow me on a journey.
Now we're going to do an exercise called bumping. And bumping is an exercise that helps you understand how to move the kettlebell with momentum, using your dip, so that later down the road you can learn how to jerk correctly. Okay? So I'm going to adjust the kettlebell, right, favoring the inside with my finger lock. I'm going to clean it right into my rack position. Okay? So I have that elbow to hip connection and all my technique is present. From here, I'm going to go and initiate my first dip, which means I'm going to bend my knees. And in bending my knees, it's like a spring, getting ready to load, and then I'm going to stand up strong or with a lot of momentum, okay, and transferring the energy from my legs into my hip, into my elbow, therefore bumping the kettlebell up. At no time am I pressing the kettlebell, okay? I am initiating that dip to load and explode right into a full stand-up. And that transfer of energy, that kinetic chain, is going to move the kettlebell. I am not strict pressing it. The reason for this is, again, efficiency. If you're going to use your upper body a lot and you're not going to use your legs, you're going to tire out very fast and you won't be able to finish your set. So remember, all of the power is coming from your legs and you're bumping the kettlebell up. So that's something you need to practice. Right into your rack position, first initial dip, standing up, exploding up, and bumping the bell. Learning to bump correctly is going to help you so that you can learn your jerk later down the road. So bumping is a fundamental exercise you should be practicing. And again, you can do it for a duration of time or reps. You can even do reps in a certain amount of time, however you want to build your program. But this again is just fundamental. So bumping the kettlebell. Okay, I want you to take these 5 techniques and get very comfortable with them. Once you do, I'm going to post another video that'll take your training a little bit further.
Come follow me on a journey. Up a real MC. Come follow me on a journey. Come on. Up a real MC. Come follow